And I know I'm not the only one going through this. I know there's other individuals, especially on this channel, who everyone seems to convey that this going on this amazing self-development journey is like the best thing ever. It like changes your life, it's all positive and there's no negatives. But I'm actually here to tell you that there's swings and roundabouts, just like everything that you do in your life. And although there is like very positive aspects of going on this self-development journey, there's also very real life negative effects that you get. And one that I've noticed quite heavily in my own life is the fact of how easy it is to quit. How easy it is to go back into bad habits and want to chill out and not do the work or just quit on yourself in general. I struggle with it quite a bit, especially being the eldest brother in my family. So I'm the oldest out of my brothers. And I realise, especially when I got to like 18, 19, that the responsibility I have to my brothers to be at the absolute pinnacle at all times. And what I've learned is along the way I've had to sacrifice so much of myself and take pieces of myself so that my brothers haven't got to not necessarily have the same experiences, but to not make the same mistakes that I've made, you know? And it does take a lot out of you, I'll be completely honest. You know, you do try to stay positive, you try to have a smiley face and all this bullshit and that. But it does take a lot out of you, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this at all. It does. And when you're in those states, you're like, oh, I've just gone through this, I've just gone through that. No one's ever showed me any form of direction in my life. I've just done this all on my ones, I'm not gonna lie. It does take a lot out of you, and I feel like when it does take a lot out of you, it leaves you vulnerable, like your defenses are down, and then you begin to start to doubt yourself, and that's when them thoughts come in. Like today, for example, I'll give you a prime example. I've had a very busy week, especially leading up to my fight. And I've been very, not run down, but I've been in a realm of like low energy. And where I've been working quite hard, it's been a case of like, oh, fucking hell. I was waking up thinking, oh, I don't want to train in the morning. I can just call my coach and say, listen, I've had this or this happened last night. Just tired, I need to stretch, all this malarkey. And your brain just thinks of all these different excuses. And then I realised that no, I can't actually afford to say no. I'm not going to go training because I have responsibility to myself and to my brothers, more importantly, because I need to set an example of how I should be acting, the things I should be doing and how I convey myself, etc. Because if I show weakness, then my brother's going to think, okay, it's all right to be weak, which it isn't. Especially in this day and age where it's incredibly highly competitive, you've got to almost shed that weakness so that you can succeed. But as I was saying, yeah, I have to, it feels like I'm having to take so much for myself, like go through all these different experiences and navigate life on my own and sacrifice myself for them to have a better life. And I know I'm not the only one going through this. I know there's other individuals, especially on this channel, who even maybe like an only child, and they've got like their family that rely on them or something along those lines, or in similar situations like me where they are the oldest brother or the oldest sister, whichever it be. You know who you are, who are having to shed pieces of themselves and go on these different journeys of going into self and put themselves in new environments, making mistakes, going through lessons, going through the struggles so that the rest of their family don't have to deal with those type of things, you know? But when it comes to like, I call it when the devil's near, when the devil can sense that your energy is low, that's when your guard is down. So that's when he comes in twice as heavy. He sends his demons, he sends his people to come try infiltrate your brain and infiltrate your energies to try persuade you to the dark side. And I noticed that quite in my life quite a bit. So I do try to turn to God as much as I can. And I'll be honest, God is especially quite recently helped me out quite a bit. I know you guys probably have turned to God quite a bit, because he's really changed my life. I tell people that I wouldn't be able to conquer or do the things I do now without God by my side, because anyone knows me, I don't have a drug problem, don't drink, none of that. Like, God gets me through women, I'm not even gonna lie. He like, lust is the craziest thing that I go through, honestly. And the devil has an innate ability of getting me and testing me all the time, like the fucker he is. But that's just one of those things. And as I said, when you're down and you're tired and all this and that, that's when those thoughts and the devil creeps in and says it's just so easy to quit. It's so easy to stay in the comfort zone and not do what needs to be done. But you have to have that power within yourself and that recognition and self-awareness to say, listen, no, I must do this. Like, I must go training. I have to train, not for myself, but for my family, for my brothers, whoever it may be, a person that relies on you and expecting you to succeed, because your future bloodline and whatever is dependent upon you, you know. I do think that's a healthy amount of responsibility to have on your shoulders, but it's a heavy burden to carry. Very heavy burden, especially if you have such high demands of yourself and such high goals, and you're not achieving them as quick as you want them to achieve. Especially if you compare it with things like social media. Like, social media is like such a tailored reality. You see everyone's wins, but you never see people's struggles. And it seems to think where everyone snips all their lives together, that things are happening constantly, like their life is going so well so quickly. But that's not the true reality of it. They've gone through trials and tribulations like everyone else. And you got to remember that, of course, that life is a journey, and it takes time to get there, to succeed and fulfill your goals. But it's just having that self-realization that, listen, I know I'm not where I need to be, but I understand my path and my journey and the responsibilities I have. If I continue to do the basics, stick to the good habits, and do what needs to be done to keep me in that direction of going towards my goals, then essentially everything will work out, especially if you have God on your side and you have self-belief in yourself, because that's the most important thing. You do need belief in yourself, especially on this journey. It's not something you can do on your own. I know some people might not believe in God on this channel, but for those of you that do, you understand that you can't really walk this path alone, because it is such a heavy burden to carry. So you do have to turn to the higher power to help you in that regard. But yeah, I know it's a heavy burden to have to shed parts of yourself to ensure your family and your brothers and your sisters have a better life, but it is the path we have chosen. God has chosen us to do this, so you must fulfill your destiny and be the one in your bloodline that changes everything. That's the best way I can say it. So I'm not going to talk too much. This is just a little one, just to help realign my focus, and hopefully when you see this video, it realigns your focus as well. And I want you to know that you're not alone, especially on this journey, because I'm going through it. There's other people that's going through it on here. I know some people won't say it, but you know who I'm talking to. So anyone that feels like they want to talk about things, like, comment and subscribe, all that type of jazz, you know, put in the comments that I want this to be a good community of like-minded people that help people, especially people that are really on that path and need a bit of guidance. Anyone, put stuff in the chat and we have a little talk, all right? But I'm not going to talk too much. I hope you have a good week. Keep fucking working. See you later.